Hey Sarah, let's take a look at your week 1 assignment 2 drawing. First thing off, if you double up on these where you put both of the assignments on the same file, which I'm very happy that you do, you can make them a little bit bigger than what you have here. Your file size is 600 by 290. At the very least, make them 800 so that you have a little bit of a better viewing area, but you can actually make them a little bit bigger than that because you're basically fitting a lot of information on a very relatively small area, and so being able to zoom in and, for me at least, seeing the technique and seeing how the marker is working is a lot more difficult when the tiles are this small, as opposed to them, being, if one of these assignments was 800 by 600, the 4 tiles would basically take up the entire screen, which is what we want to see. File size is not going to be that big of an issue if you go 200 or 300 pixels over what the guidelines say, and if you keep it at 72 DPI, then it's going to be fine. These look very good though. The blind technique I thought looked great, and the side to side looked even better, and then they look even better after you have the colored pencil over top of them, where if there is any inconsistency, which there is very little of on your swatches on the left, they get completely eliminated once you start overlaying them with colored pencil and marker again. And this is really basically what we're kind of looking for with things, is just seeing some terrific use of color, using white, creating gradients, and just kind of creating a lot of different stuff with the colored pencil. And I really like what's happening here. The technique stuff looks good. You're cutting your edges, which is good. The side to side has some great consistency in the centers, and not really seeing any issues there. The blind technique, I think the gray one is working out well. The blue one, we're seeing a little bit more kind of, I wouldn't say inconsistency, but the stroke tends to be a little more wobbly. It doesn't feel quite as straight. With the T-square or with the triangle, you don't have to use them together. You're just lining up the bottom of your triangle so that it creates a nice completely perpendicular line to the bottom of your tile, and then you can just kind of go in, with your stroke, and then move it over, move it over, move it over, move it over. But it's just to create a nice kind of clean line. I do have a lot of people, and I experience a lot of issues when I use rulers, straight edges, or triangles. The marker can sometimes kind of like seep underneath it, and then it ends up kind of running and smearing. So one thing is that if you use a straight edge, they make those metal ones with the cork, and sometimes you can get those where they're lifting off of the page a little bit, and that way your marker doesn't kind of seep in. But you just have to be careful with it, and have kind of a light touch. But these feel fine. The gray especially feels very, the stroke is moving along well, and it's moving in the same direction all the way across, which is what we want. So I think it's a good first assignment. It really shows us a good understanding of the technique. You've got some great results with what you have in place, and I think a really nice range of things going on, as well as some high quality with the colored pencil and marker stuff. So just keep it up, and we'll see you for your next one in a few days.